Hi, I'm John Harmon, and I would like to talk to you about learning together at the Data Science Learning Community. You can find these slides at dslc.io/useR2024, and you can find me on social media such as Mastodon at John the Geek. So, who is the DSLC? You may know us as R4DS or the R4DS Online Learning Community. We started as a book club for that one book back in 2017, but we've never actually been affiliated with that book, and we cover much more than that one book. So now we are the Data Science Learning Community as of April of 2024. If you want to learn anything about data science, we're here to help. We're still the same group. If you knew us as R4DS, that's still who we are. But we have a new name that we think is a lot more inviting. The mission of the data science learning community is to provide tools and resources to foster a diverse, friendly, and inclusive community of data science learners and practitioners. I was lucky when I started to learn data science. I found a friendly community on social media, and I have advantages that not everybody has. I'm a white guy in America. And so, things were a little bit easy for me. I wanted to make it as easy as possible for everybody else. I want to make sure everybody has a good learning experience. And so at DSLC.io, we create tools and resources that are focused in these areas: learning together, helping one another, learning out loud, and we're just starting to create tools for making connections. And I'm going to go through each of these for the rest of the talk. So what do we do? As I mentioned, we started as a book club for R for Data Science. That's the first edition. We have had many book clubs now for the second edition as well. We added a advanced R book club back in April 2022 when everyone was bored at home, and that kind of launched this new wave of book clubs that we do. From there, we've added books like Tidy Modeling by Max Kuhn and Julia Silge. We've done Mastering Shiny several times now by Hadley Wickham. Our latest cohort is trying to do kind of R and Python at the same time. They're translating the concepts as they go through. We've done several cohorts of R packages, both first and second edition. Second edition now is by Hadley Wickham and Jennifer Bryan. We've done several cohorts of ISLR, and we've done a few now of ISLP with the Python version. And so, as you can see, the name R4DS Online Learning Community just became less and less accurate. We have over 60 free online data science books in our book clubs, and really book clubs is a little bit of a misnomer. It's more of a study group, because we've had groups that have done package down sites for packages. We've done online courses together. It's just a group of about 5 to 6 people, ideally. They meet every week for 1 hour and just discuss usually one chapter of the book. We try to keep those groups small to encourage discussion. So around 5 or 6 we find is ideal. It's enough to keep the club going, but small enough that people aren't afraid to speak up. We create shared slide decks together collaboratively, and then we post those on GitHub so that each cohort can kind of improve on what the previous cohort did. We put our videos up at dslc.video. That is technically a separate entity that hosts our videos, dslc.video. They're on YouTube. And so you can catch up there. We have a Slack channel for each book for asynchronous discussion, so that both within a single cohort, they can discuss what they talked about in the meeting. And we also have conversations between different cohorts who are either reading the book at the same time, or maybe some of them are ahead of other cohorts. And so we can have discussions there. I've worked in educational publishing for about 25 years. And so I try to sneak in best practices. And so like each of the cohorts, every week, they tend to start with learning objectives. So everyone's on the same page of what is this chapter covering. We also have a few other like little things in language that I try to encourage and slide format. And over time, we're just getting like better and better resources for each of the books that we work with. Our next area is helping each other with friendly Q&A. We are a supportive community for asking questions. We have help channels on the Slack. And from the start, our code of conduct has encouraged friendliness. We have a culture of collaboration. It's okay to not know something. We kind of think of ourselves as the anti-Stack Overflow because we don't want to make people feel bad for asking questions. So if someone's already asked the same question, who cares? That's an opportunity to go through it again or to explain it better. And everyone has things they don't know yet. And I really want to stress the yet, that everyone can learn whatever they want to learn. I gave a lightning talk about this idea at RStudioConf back in 2020. I called it Learning by Teaching. And because answering questions is a great way to practice and cement your skills. So the idea is that you might go through a book club and learn the basics of some concept, and then you can come in and answer questions about it, and that will really, really cement the information for you. So everyone is learning at the same time. And I strongly encourage everyone to use this model because obviously it helps the people coming up behind you and it also helps you yourself. For finding unanswered questions, we have this tool called Mentor Dash. If you come to the slides, you can link to it. One thing to know is you have to join our Slack in order to open Mentor Dash because it uses your Slack login to log into the dashboard. This was, I developed the first version, but I've had a lot of help from several people, and especially Tan Ho. He did most of the UI, looks something like this. We try to keep that number up there, the 38 answerable questions, trying to keep that down to 0. I need to check again what it's at right now. That changes all the time, obviously. This is loading data from our live Slack instance, and we have an emoji vocabulary to mark questions as done, or if they need more feedback from the original asker, or maybe the original asker decides, never mind, I don't need help with this. I now see what I did, and so we can mark that as never mind. And we have this whole vocabulary. The dashboard uses that to track, has the question been answered? And we can go through and sort by different fields to try to find questions to answer. And so I really, again, would encourage anyone who wants to get some practice, come on in, use this dashboard, find some questions, and put out some answers. Our next project, the thing that you probably, if you have heard of us, you've probably heard of us through our Tidy Tuesday project. We call this a weekly social data project. It was started back in April of 2018 by Tom Mock, before he worked at RStudio and now Posit. And now Tracy Teal and I curate the data sets every week. We post the data sets on social media and at tidytues.day, which takes you to the GitHub repo. I highly encourage, if you're going to bookmark it, bookmark tidytues.day because I intend to update that book club repo. I'm sorry, that GitHub repo to link to a future better version of the site of the repo. And so after we post these data sets, we post those on Monday, and then the idea is that on Tuesday, participants will share data visualizations and code. Now, it doesn't actually happen on Tuesday all the time. You're free to share anytime during the week, but that's the reason for the name. This is an example from, I think this is back in March, actually, of Nicola Rennie made a tree map plot from a data set we shared. And I really like to see that she always shares a lot of, she shares her code and often shares blog posts explaining everything about why she did what she did. So it's great to see all the different people who participate and how they participate. I also learned, like I had heard little snippets of this, but I learned last fall that we are used in quite a lot of college courses for projects and for like day-to-day examples. And so if you go to github.com/r4ds/tt meta, and again, I will link to this in the slides, uh, you can see a repo that I've put together of it automatically updates with information about the data sets to make it a little bit easier to find data sets for different examples. And the data set today, as of the premiere of this YouTube video, is that data set. So it's a metadata set about Tidy Tuesday. So if you go check it out, you can see all the things we've done. We've had over 650 data sets shared since April 2018, not always one per week. Sometimes it's more than one. And so you can see everything that we've done there. I'd also like to put out a call that if you do use Tidy Tuesday in education, either as a student or as a teacher, if you could fill out this survey, you can take a picture of that QR code, or you can go to dslc.io/TT survey 23. And this is in part to decide what to do in that TT meta tool, how far to take it, what all to add, what would be helpful for people. So if you can go serve or fill that out, that would be very helpful. So, you might be wondering, hopefully you think that we have a good idea here, we're doing useful things. So how can you help? Well, the first thing you can do is, contribute. Come to dslc.io and go to the Mentor Dash tool after you join our Slack and answer questions. We can always use more people answering questions. If you do that a fair amount, generally one of us will notice. We'll bring you into, we have a channel for people who are answering questions to kind of share tips on how to answer questions better. For example, one that came up earlier this year was to try to avoid the word just when you're answering a question. You just have to blah, 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 because if they're answering or asking a question, they don't know how to do it. So saying you just have to do it might make people feel a little, Stack Overflowy. So keep it nice and kind. The next thing you can do is facilitate a book club cohort. Now, first you have to participate in a cohort. We require that of our facilitators. And the facilitator is just the person who is my contact in that club. So out of the 5 or 6 people who are reading the book, one person's kind of in charge. They just make sure that someone signs up every week to present the chapter. And ideally, if that person can't present the chapter, they don't show up for whatever reason, the facilitator should be ready to discuss the chapter so that the club can keep going. The benefit you get from this is when we choose the time and day that the club will meet, we use your selections that you fill out into a Shiny app that we have. We use your selections as the pool to choose out of. And then based on how many other people can participate, that determines when we'll have the club. And then the next thing you can do, we have a couple of Shiny apps. We're producing more and other like R packages, that sort of thing. You can contribute. Sometimes you might have to convince me to let you contribute. I tend to be a little overprotective, but I really would love help. So despite I might try to push back a little, no, I won't. I will let you in. Come join. Come to our GitHub. Come to our Slack and ask me. The Book Clubber app that we have for signing up, that exists because Priyanka Gugnaja made a version 1 after I had talked about how it would be nice for this to exist. We have an automatic process for uploading the videos to YouTube and posting the chats into our Slack for the book club meetings. That exists because Kevin Kent, another member of our community, sorted out how to interact with the YouTube API so I could automate that. In both of those cases, I mentioned needing help and they just ran with it. So like I say, despite me sometimes being protective, please, I could use your help. The next thing is sponsorship. So almost a year ago, back in September of last year, 2023, we became a collective inside the Open Collective Foundation, which is a 501c3 charitable organization in the US. But the OCF the Open Collective Foundation, they dissolved rather suddenly in March of 2024. And so we need a new stable fiscal host so we can continue to collect donations. I have an application in progress. I'm hoping that that will be sorted out in the next couple of months. But if you know someone, or if you are a 501c3 and would like to bring us in, I would be happy to talk to you about that. We do also, accept grants, sponsorships, donations. Right now, we can't take that money in, but having that kind of coming in on its way, it can be very helpful in this application process. I don't get paid for any of this that I do. This is just a thing I do on the side. And my dream is really to do this full time, to make this community as helpful as it can be. But for that to happen, we will need much more sponsorship than we have right now. But we did have a fundraiser back in March when we found out that we weren't going to be able to collect donations anymore for a while. And I just do want to say that I am very grateful for all the contributions. Those will keep the lights on for the foreseeable future. So that is very helpful. But again, it's not enough to do all the things that I would like to do. And of course, the main thing you can do is you can join the community. Come to dslc.io. There's a link there to join our Slack. I will warn you, I'm getting better about this, but that Slack is supposed to, or that link to join Slack is supposed to be forever. It's supposed to never expire, but it actually expires after 1,000 uses. And our community grows rapidly, especially after talks like this. And so the link may fail. If it does, just let me know at john@dslc.io, or just wait until the following Monday, because that's when I refresh it. Sometimes I refresh it more often, like I will almost definitely refresh it a couple times today. But just come join us. I promise you, if it says that it's gone, it's only gone for a moment. When you do join, come post in the intros and welcome channel that you should see at the top of your list when you joined. And let us know who you are. And also let us know how you found your way here. So if it's through this video, then let us know. You can also ping me on that Slack, at John the Geek, for any questions that you have about how DSLC works. But I do ask, don't ask me our programming questions there, because we would like to do that out loud in the community where everyone can see, everyone can learn from what questions you have. We have, I think we're pushing 19,000 members now. Not all of them are active, but it's a lot of people. And so if everyone is asking me for help with their R code, it's very overwhelming. So just please, keep those into the help channels. Let everyone learn together. You can also find me on social media, like I said, on Mastodon. I'm John the Geek, specifically on the Fostodon instance. And we also have DSLC on that instance. And then separately, DSLC Vids, where DSLC Vids posts the videos every day of whatever book clubs have met. That way you can see what we're doing, and you can learn a lot of things. You can also find me on LinkedIn at John the Geek, and you can find DSLC on /company/DSLC-IO on LinkedIn, and also DSLC Vids. I look forward to seeing everyone on our Slack. Thank you.